Hello from Sanur. Let's see what the day brings. I was thinking last night, I really need to make a video today, but I was a little bit reluctant to because it's a Sunday, and Sundays are one of those days in Indonesia where I sometimes feel it's a little bit too busy with the local crowds in some areas, and I don't want to go there and it just being awkward for me trying to film when there's so many people around. But I sort of turned that on its head and thought, you know what? Maybe that's a good opportunity to make a video and explain why that is. I was just walking past this, and up there I can see a little spark happening on the electricity pole or on a wire up there. It's not just sparking, it's making a buzzing sound. That doesn't look good, does it? I mean, I'm no electricity expert, but it sounds bad. But anyway, getting back to the story about Sundays. In many parts of Indonesia, I'm not sure it's the same in Bali. Bali seems to be a little bit more advanced when it comes to this sort of stuff, but in most parts of Indonesia, people will often work a 6-day week. Kids will go to school 6 days a week. So on Saturdays, it's not really a day off. You may only need to go into the office for half a day or go to school for half a day, but it's really a dead day. You know, you can't really go on a family outing, you can't go on a big sort of exercise sort of thing. So the only day in the week that's left, and I'm assuming it used to be like this in the West as well, the only day that's left is Sunday. So Sunday becomes this really important thing in Indonesia where people love to go and exercise. And when they exercise in a big way. Families will go out all together and exercise by going for a walk or going for a bike ride. Individuals who are a little bit more serious, even though they've not exercised all week, will go out for a massive run, 10, 20 Ks more, they do that, or a big bicycle ride. I know people who will only go out and ride their bicycle once a week, but might go and do 200 kilometres. 200 kilometres? I know a guy who, in Java, will ride basically halfway to Bandung and back from Jakarta in a big loop. And they love it. They love that sort of exercise sort of regime. Dogs are out in force this morning. Those street dogs, they're not strays. I always used to think they were strays, not owned by anyone. And I mean, the idea of owning a dog here is a little bit different to what it is in most countries. Owning a dog here can sometimes mean just maybe giving it a bit of food every now and then, and it comes back to your house just to protect it. It really depends on the owner, of course. I mean, I'm not making a generalisation, but a lot of the times they're not stray. They're owned by someone. They like to have a little bark. And, a friend of mine, she has a dog, but it's actually someone else's. So it comes to her house to be fed. She looks after it, gets the vet involved when it needs help. It lives in her house, sleeps in her house, and then for a few hours a day goes back to its real home, the real owners. Well, that's a little bit weird. It's almost like they've abandoned their dog, but it's not quite like that. It's an odd little relationship with the dogs, which I don't fully understand, because for me, if I have an animal like that, I'm really going to look after it, you know, and take it into the house. But here it's a little bit more sort of a distant sort of relationship. So today I'm heading to Prapat Beris, which if you've seen some of the videos I've done previously, you would have seen me down at this area. It's a big rice field, one of the last big rice fields in Sanur. And it's a great place to go and exercise. Great place just to sit actually as well. But a lot of locals do like to come here and exercise as well. And I haven't been here on a Sunday before. I usually avoid these sorts of places on Sundays, but today I wanted to see if it got busy or not on a Sunday. The first sight of the rice field you get is like that. Yeah, it's quite beautiful. So if you own that house there, well, you've got a wall looking out over the rice fields, which is a bit unfortunate. But you've got no windows looking at the rice field. That's unfortunate. But some of the other houses do have. In fact, none of those houses there do have an overlook of the rice field. They're all blocked off. Yeah, that's weird. Some of those ones over there do. They have a bit of an overlook to the rice field. Over here we've got some flowers being grown. They're the typical flowers that you'll see in the Chanang Sari. All of those are. That little purple one, I don't know the names. The orange one, is that a marigold? That red one for sure, and that pink one for sure. They're all used in the offerings around here. And then you move out and then it opens up a little bit more. And that noise you can hear, I might just go and show you what that is. It's a little wind-driven, I think it's a bird, trying to get the birds away with a little bit of disturbance. So I'll show you. I wish I could get closer, but basically there's a fan and it's attached to a little drumstick. The drumstick's not a drumstick, it looks like almost like a chopstick. And then on the other side is a cooking pot, or a serving up your veggies pot. And as the wind blows, it just dings it. Beautiful, it's beautiful. You can see that there's a house being built there. This one has been built not too long ago there, and this row of houses is fairly new, and another few are being built there. In Indonesia, there are zoning laws. Basically, it goes like this. They colour code the zoning. So here in Bali in particular, they're quite funny about it because they don't want all the rice fields being built over. If you buy a block of land, and we're talking freehold, so foreigners can't do this, so you don't need to worry too much. Although if you are renting long term, you probably want to think about it. If you buy the green zone land, it can't be built on. It's for agricultural purposes. And all this land, for sure, is going to be green zone. I haven't checked, but almost certainly will be green zone. Even if you go into some residential areas, it's green zone. And you think, well, how can it be green zone if there are buildings already built on it? Well, that's the problem. People sometimes buy land and they will build a house on land which is reserved for agricultural purposes, and they sometimes get away with it. They don't always. But what happens is, if, let's say, 20 people have done it, bought the land and built a house on it, and then you've got a housing complex, and then the government finds out there's 20 people who have built houses, it becomes quite complicated how to resolve it. In the end, it usually just gets converted to the residential status, and it means that someone got a cheap block of land, because these blocks of land are much cheaper, mainly because you're not supposed to build on them. It means that someone got a cheap block of land, built a house legally, and then converted it. It's a bit sad, really, because there are regulations in place to stop the destruction of the rice fields, but they're not really enforced. Not really enforced. Like that thing there, I don't know how something like that gets built. I really honestly don't. But I would think that this whole rice field area will be gone soon. I would say within 5 years it'll be gone, which is terrible to say, but it just, looking at the speed of this development, it just feels that way. When I look at this over here, it looks like there was a big sort of rectangle of land built, and there's a whole bunch of newer places there that have been built. Now, I'm not saying those houses are illegal. No. What I am saying is that the laws are enforced quite loosely, and if you're in the know, you can get things done here. I would never do it. I would never buy a green zone block of land and build a house on it, mainly because it's really risky, but also you're really, killing the place that you love, and it's a bit selfish for me. If you go and build right on the edge of a rice field because you want that view, I think it's a little bit selfish. For me, a little bit selfish. Not long after that, some guy says, oh, what a great place for a house, buys a block in front of you and builds their one in front of the rice field, and then blocks you, and it goes on and on and on until you've just got a housing complex. I mean, I think that's what will happen eventually here. It's a large area though. You could put a lot of houses in. If that was all filled with houses, definitely the roads on the west side of the bypass would not cope with the amount of development, but that probably will happen in time, I would say. There are a couple of locally made little benches along this path in Prapat Beris. This is an area where pedestrians and bikes mix together. There is an area where it's just pedestrian only. I actually prefer this area because there's more trees, the motorbike area. It's a beautiful place just to come and sit. A beautiful place to come and sit. Because we're in a dry season right now, it's a lot cooler. It's usually not that cloudy. I mean, today is a beautiful morning. It's been very, very rainy the past week, but today's beautiful. And the breezes are phenomenal. During the dry season here in Bali, you get this constant wind, and that's why they like to fly kites. But the upside of that is that you get this really just cooling breeze, and it's quite magical. It's very humid, quite warm, but I'm barely sweating, even though I've walked now over a kilometre. Because that wind is just blowing constantly on you. It's just phenomenal. At this time of the morning, well, it's just after sunrise. It's wonderful. Get moving again, the wind's picking up beautifully, absolutely beautifully. It doesn't look like it's going to rain today. Ordinarily, the beachfront path in Sanur on a Sunday is very busy. People are going down to the beach, have picnics, just get out and about really. And I generally try and avoid it on Sundays. When you're on holiday, so if you've come into Bali on holiday and you might not really keep track of the days so much, you might notice these surges of people coming and going. That's probably going to be coinciding with either a Sunday or a Tanggal Merah. Tanggal Merah means red day. So on your calendar, you've got those days that are marked in red. Well, that's what Tanggal Merah is. And Indonesians love their Tanggal Merah. And there's lots of them. There's almost 20 of them throughout the year. These public holidays that people get to go and, well, just have time off with the family. It's very much like a Sunday. I guess in Australia, we would treat them in a similar way as well. And people love to go out and have a picnic down at the beachfront there in Sanur. This is the first time I've been down to Prapat Beris on a Sunday. I actually thought it would be packed, but I'm not seeing anyone. I've seen, 3 or 4 people. Got this guy coming up behind me on the motorbike flying. That's it. Beautiful. It's probably a little bit early. People are probably still in bed. That sun's going to be a beautiful sunrise. Beautiful. Just a beautiful morning. So this is a sign from Pemerintah Kota Denpasar, the government of Denpasar City. They are saying you can't build houses here. And it gives you a map of all the areas that are listed as green zones. Yeah, all the areas that are listed as green zones. Now, I know that there are houses along there. Well, basically, people have built in the green zone, even though there's a big sign saying pengumuman. So announcement, dilarang membangun. No building. It's forbidden to build with a big house. You can't build here. Kawasan ini adalah kawasan lahan. This area is an area of land, pertanian, so agricultural land. Even though that's built, people have got houses there. Now, they may have already been contacted by the government and they're going through a process of negotiation now. Negotiation. I mean, if someone's already built a house, are you really going to tell them to tear it down? You might, but you might not either. You might fine them. And, that's the government's job to do that. I mean, we don't get involved in those sorts of things. But it's a little bit disappointing that people have actually gone and built on this land. What's good is that they've put that sign up there just to show people, like, if you really like this place, don't come and build a house on it. Like, just let's keep it as it is, like, because it's beautiful. As you move further into Prapat Beris, there's a little warung there and a couple of little places to sit and rest. But this is the area that's supposed to be no motorbikes, or it used to be. But I just noticed back there that there was no sign this time. There used to be a sign there saying no motorbikes. It never used to be a through track either, so motorbikes wouldn't bother coming up here unless you're a farmer, which, you're going to have an exception for that. And people sort of call this like a jogging track. I think it might even be called jogging track Prapat Beris. I've tried to jog here before. For me, it's a little bit too exposed for jogging. Not dead flat. Like, it's good, but I prefer the beachfront path. Now, this is interesting. So last time I came down here, and it has been a while since I came down to this walking area of the jogging track. What's interesting is that there in the rice field never used to be there. So that used to all be rice field there. So there's building being built there. There's a road and there's a road that way. So that's going to be filled in for sure, for absolutely sure. Which is sad because what's the point of having a jogging track through the rice fields if you've got houses next to it? That's not great. That's a nice house though. Beautiful, beautiful house. Would love to live in a place like that with this outlook onto the rice field. The sun's already risen now. And it's nowhere near as busy down here as I had expected. The whole point of the video was going to be me telling you how busy it gets in certain places in Bali because it's Sunday. And I come down here to show you and it's actually, there's no one down here. Like, it's quite beautiful, quite peaceful and quiet. I'm guessing the beachfront path is going to be busy. Every time I go down there on a Sunday, it's busy, unless there's some sort of activities going on elsewhere, it'll be busy. So this is actually the alternative, it seems, that if you want to avoid some of the, maybe the public holiday crowds or the Sunday crowds, this place still seems to be a little bit of a hidden gem. I don't really like saying the word hidden gem. I despise it. I despise it. Sort of passed on to me from the owner of the guidebook company I used to work for. He and his wife had a few key phrases that we were never allowed to use. One of them being hidden gem, because it's so cliche, even back then, so cliche, so overused, and really meaningless. Hidden gem. Oh, no one knows about it, but it's absolutely wonderful. Well, people do know about this place. Locals know about it. If I say hidden gem, it's sort of like basically saying locals don't know anything, but they do. They know this place. Just a wonderful morning. It's actually quite cool. Like, I wouldn't wear a jumper, but it's not far off. Like, it's probably 25 degrees this morning. In the dry season, it gets a couple of degrees cooler. Usually 27 overnight in the wet season. You get a lot of nights where it's about 25 here in the dry season. As I move further along, I am noticing that it's getting a little bit busier with more people coming down with dogs. It's not bad at all. It's just a little bit busier than it was earlier this morning. Totally fine, totally fine. Now the sun's out, I need to put my sunnies on. The sun's sort of getting pretty high in the sky now. I will put a map of this place on the screen now just to show you where it is. So we are west side of the bypass. If you know the Pandai Putri supermarket on Batur Sari, you'll know this area vaguely. And to get here, it's not far from there. Like, really, really simple. Like, it's a short walk actually from that supermarket. So if you're staying at Batur Sari or staying near Pandai Putri supermarket there, you can walk here easily. While I'm down here at Prapat Beris, I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank those people who have already signed up as members. A membership on YouTube, if you don't know, is just a way of supporting a creator. And I've got that feature now. You'll get a few little extra bits and pieces for your trouble as well. So if you're interested in becoming a member, make sure you hit the join button that's on the screen there. That'll help support the channel, help me keep creating content like this. Part of why I really love Bali is because of the accessibility to green spaces. And by that I mean open spaces for the public. The beachfront path is a classic example of a public space that has a lot of openness to it. That openness to the sea, absolutely phenomenal. And it's not sort of owned by anyone in particular. Well, yeah, there are some businesses that build on the beach, but generally it's pretty open to the public, and it feels really nice to have that open space that everyone can go and enjoy for free. The other thing is that you have rice fields like this still in Sanur. There's not many left, and it is just wonderful. But this is another one of the reasons that we really love Bali. That typical rice field scene is beyond compare throughout the world. And we still have it here in Sanur, and it needs to be protected. And I really hope the government can succeed in their battle to try and protect these rice fields, especially when they've got the correct zoning laws in place and everything. I really love Prapat Beris, and I like to come down here every now and then, not on camera usually, just to have a bit of time to myself. Sit, reflect, watch the sunrise, feel the cool breeze blow across you as you just sit there still in that morning air. It's absolutely fantastic. Thanks for coming along for the ride today, and thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to keep up to date with all things Sanur and the rest of Indonesia. I'll catch you next time, and sampai jumpa.